Welcome and good evening to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. With me as always, Neindorf. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. Like excited after that intro. Every once in a while we gotta make sure we give a shout out. That stuff's awesome.
Yeah, the music by Mike Dialga gets me going every time. So of course appreciate having the ability to stream that out. So man, chat's popping off already. We got Zelf and Sergeant Filthy McNasty. Zelf's asking guild meeting, who's got the adult beverages? Drinking my vodka water tonight. What do you got, Neindorf?
I think I got a little bit of rum going here. That's kind of one of my favorites.
Yeah, and Sergeant, that's what he says. He goes, never grew out of rum and coke. So, there you go. All right, so we want to talk about some guilds tonight, but let's just do a quick update. It's been a while since we've gone, just kind of the two of us on a podcast. What's new in Neindorf's world?
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of that switch over to winter around here lately. It's getting a little chilly. I tell you what, trying to settle in. I think that'll afford me a little bit more time actually, as you can't maybe do as much outside as we had been doing. So that might be good news for our users and listeners, perhaps.
Yeah, I hope so. I know you got quite a bit planned in the works. We'll touch on Dev Dive just a little bit here in a moment.
Yep.
My update: I'm trying to wrangle Neindorf into helping me move tomorrow. Hopefully, this is the final stretch. So I actually this is last night in the old house. A bit of a mile marker for us here, and as long as everything goes seamless with the purchase of our home. Yeah, that's the status update here for the Raph household.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to Dev Dive. Maybe talk a little bit about what you're developing, and then I'll give a quick update on Kingdom, or excuse me, the builder group that we've been speaking with in regards to Fight Club.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're coming hot off the heels here of our most recent Fight Club tournament. And obviously, our big goal here is to continue to automate more of that, make it a little smoother using the ADFK app website. So, look forward to that. We're going to be making things better. Hopefully, we'll have before the next Fight Club tournament, we'll have, some of the automated payments like our users are used to on the website for subscription. So we'll be rolling that out for entry fees for tournaments, and then we'll hopefully also get to having the brackets auto generated on the site, and so we can kind of keep tracking of it. And I had someone posting a suggestion here, trying to remember who that was. I think it was actually AP, the champ himself,
The
asking
champ,
hey,
AP
could
the
you guys
champ.
get
Yeah.
some timers or notifications? And I was like, yeah, that's another thing. I could easily have the site, posting out reminders for people. Hey, go check in. Meet up with so and so. Your matches. Not necessarily holding up the line, but maybe holding up the line, right?
Right. Well, especially with the group stages that we did this last time, it feels like some of our tournaments are going to be going that kind of longer fashioned route, which I really like the group stages. I feel like it gave people a real good chance to get some battles in. But I know Franz was doing a lot of manual wrangling, herding
No doubt.
cats, as you will. I was certainly one of the felines he was trying to get in order. All
Yeah,
right.
and that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about right there. That's if there's some sort of system that can help nudge people or remind them, like maybe once a day, be like, hey, by the way, you're up yet? I think that would just be sort of something that we could help. And if it gets annoying, obviously let us know when we roll this out, and we'll adjust as always.
Scale back. Yeah, so we had continuing on with the dev dive here. We had a great conversation with the Kingdom Studios team today. So Sunbear, Bolon, and of course the newest member of the Kingdom Studios team, Mr. Zipper. We got to get him back on the podcast, and I am just over the moon stoked that he's a part of the team. and he's going to be working with developers on the more technical side, which I'm sure Neindorf, you and Joseph are going to appreciate a lot more than I will when it comes to kind of organizing Fight Club things and making sure that we get the contract squared away. So I'm really glad that we have him in our corner, so to speak.
Yep, absolutely. He's done great for the dev community out there, and I'm sure he'll continue to help us out as he gets, more ingrained in the game.
Yeah, as Zelf saying, Dr. Zipper, love it. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, conversation went really well. I feel like the team is being creative, helping us brainstorm, and I just wanted to bring a couple of the ideas that we were looking at and allow this to really transition into guild. So one of the things that we've been talking about is the growing our PVE into. I guess first thing I should say is it feels like we are squared away on raffle tickets, and so we are going to be zeroing in. I don't have an exact timeline, but we have the financial structure squared away. We have the technical structure squared away. And so we are very close to being able to allow PVE style raffle ticket matches going on the Fight Club server. And so that's something that I'm really excited about. And so again, a reminder for all of those of you out there who may not be familiar with this, you can I say quote unquote stake, because you're not actually locking up any of your heroes, but you can appoint your heroes to become an AI team, and those are split by weight classes. And so go check out the Fight Club server if you want to understand what the weight classes are. But it's like level 0 heroes, 0 to 4, 4 to 9, or excuse me, 5 to 9, and so on and so forth. And so you can set your heroes up, and then players can actively go fight against those AI teams, which are randomly generated, or it randomly selects one of the AI teams out there, and you have the opportunity to win raffle tickets. And so we are very close to having that ability launched, getting very excited about that, and we're already laying the groundwork for all of the next things that we have coming. And so, we're excited about raffle tickets, but I'm even more excited about dungeon crawling. Neindorf, why don't you give a quick rundown of what Joseph has planned for the dungeon crawl?
Yeah, I think after we've talked more and more about it, and he kind of, if you saw on his Discord, he kind of released a little snip, of a peek behind the scenes on what he's coming up with, and it kind of reminds me a lot of kind of like the old like Final Fantasy kind of things where you're walking along the map and all of a sudden you get ambushed by a squad of bad guys and
Yep.
you have to go fight them in advance. And that's kind of, I think, what we're thinking here is, when you get quote unquote ambushed or run into a mob, it'll pop you into a game where you're basically playing a Fight Club game against the AI. I think it's a really great use of the same technology that we're using for PvP with our tournament here.
Yeah.
I love the mix. I think it's a great natural transition to playing an AI.
I I totally agree. And as we are starting to build this out, we're building up ideas, and I'm this is going to transition into our talk of the night, guild chat here. We're trying to figure out ways that how can we make these third-party apps and even in-game apps become more exciting and promote the guild system, not just for the Adventurers Guild, but for all the guilds out there, because we truly believe in a community where people are rallied around having groups, and then those groups having collaborative and healthy competition. I mean, that's what's going to bring the best out of all of us and maximize the value of the NFTs that we've painstakingly been summoning and building, especially when it comes to dark summoning and creating in our wallet. So one of the things that we're looking at with this PVE is actually, like, what if we made these dungeons? What if we associated them with land? And if land is associated with a guild, then imagine that a specific guild, Adventures Guild, for example, you and I own land, so we could host a dungeon on our land, and our guild members can then post their teams to be put up as AI teams. And so, we could have Crypto Grady, we could have Franz, we could have Guy Kidd, we could have AP, the champ himself. We could have these amazing guild members that we have post their heroes as defenders for our dungeon, and then other people could come and try to raid our dungeon. And if they get to the end, the DeFi Kingdoms team has committed to helping us develop a reward pool that could be, we're trying to focus on items that, we know our player base really loves. So, summoning stones or greater crystals, that kind of thing. The items that really get juicy for the degens out there. And then imagine that the Adventures Guild has a dungeon, and Team Goose. I saw Sergeant Filthy McNasty in the chat there. So imagine that Team Goose has a dungeon, and then the Perilous Pirates and Pouring, they have a dungeon out there. And now it's not just that these dungeons exist, but there could be which guild has the lowest percentage pass rate inside a dungeon, and that could be a fun statistic that becomes something that's coveted out there. It's like you want the dungeon where you have the strongest and the toughest heroes, and then could we create rewards that scale to that difficulty level? And so the hardest dungeon, if you make it through that, you get boosted rewards or something to that effect. So Neindorf, what do you think about, let's continue kind of this conversation on dungeons. And I know you have an idea on like tokens as well. So first, let's say, what do you like about the dungeon aspect, and then how do you want to incorporate tokens?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the great part about the way you've described this is it's basically you are collaborating with your friends that are in your guild to basically throw down the gauntlet and say, hey, we challenge you to come see if you can make it past our gauntlet. I mean, I think like that is like, I don't know, that's just really cool. Like we've kind of compared some of this in the past kind of to Clash of Clans, where you have the war.
Right.
And I think this is even more like that. If you have these sorts of dungeon crawlers where you have to actually make it from start to finish, and everybody gets to watch. That's the other beauty of this too, is it's all out there. You go watch someone and then kind of learn as you go and be like, wait, actually, we need to swap out our heavyweights to be more, have more dexterity. We're getting beat on speed. I can just foresee these back and forths going, or it's football season, right? You got, I feel like from generation to generation, you got speed trumps power, and then power will trump speed, and you kind of keep that cycle going. And
Yeah.
I can for sure see this kind of taking us right into that. So then tokens. Yeah, tokens are very fascinating in my opinion. I would really love to see there be some sort of system on chain where when you apply and are accepted into a guild, you get to possess in your wallet a token that says, here's your membership badge, basically. And that's just really cool, first of all. And I would hope that the guild would maybe get to submit the artwork or something like that that's on the token, with approval from the team, of course, because you can't have just anything out there. But then you can actually use that as the under the hood mechanism for saying, look, you can add your heroes to this guild's gauntlet because barely you are a member. It opens the door to so many like on-chain features that you could do if you have guild-specific tokens. So I don't know. I'm stoked about it. I think it's got so much potential.
Yeah, I really am excited. Like we have the tokens in game, like the pages that
Yes.
don't have use yet, but I feel like the idea of those internal pages is that could eventually become something that is like a PvE style item, and that's really kind of what you're envisioning with your idea, right?
It is, yeah. And we've even gone so far as to say that what if some of these third parties, such as Fight Club, could petition to have tokens released as quest rewards in the main DFK game. Imagine
Yeah.
receiving a Fight Club dungeon map as part of your strength training or something, and it's like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah.
And then you have to go read into it, and oh, I get to go play a dungeon on Fight Club, and then I'm just envisioning that this would be a great way to integrate third parties and a good way to find out about things.
Right.
And it's
And
all on chain, which is awesome.
when we pitched this to the team today, I mean, they were like loving it. And I'm so excited and appreciative of the support that we have with the group. Sun Bear, he helped really kind of solidify with his feedback today that like this is exactly what they are looking for in the game right now is how do they attract third party developers that are allowing for the development of guilds, developing of other in-game initiatives. So let's go ahead and transition a little away from Fight Club and into some of the ideas that you've been brainstorming, Neindorf. Let's start with maybe collaborative questing. And so, we're going to kind of transition to, I guess, the theme of the night, which is guild conversations. And I guess before I throw it over to you, I'll tee it up. You and I had been talking the last couple days. We own land. And I aped into Sejul very haphazardly. I followed the advice of Grady. I disregarded all other advice, and I aped in completely and totally into Sejul. And and you took a much more measured approach. You're in the gardens right now, and you said, "Well, wait a second. If we own land, how will eventually there be benefits, Sejul benefits around owning land, and how can we together, pool our Sejul benefits, or even better than that, can a guild pool their Sejul benefits to this to supporting land or supporting guilds?" And I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna throw a flyer out there. I've shot a message over to Frisky Fox a few times, and with Slack being open and some of our conversations in Fight Club, I thought, what, I'll give him an ask. And this was Thursday morning before the AMA and before they opened up the Rapid R questions. He said, you know what, give us some ideas. Go, and so I'm gonna refer him to this podcast as our brainstorming session, and I'll probably post some of these ideas. As you guys know out there, the faithful of ADFK, I have a bit of a guild manifesto out there. So we're gonna post this information on Rapid R. Have no fear. But yeah, this came from trying to advocate for how do we maximize the benefits for the players out there, our community, and of course, like how can we do that through the lens of guilds? So with all of that lead in, we've kind of broken this out into a few different categories: collaborative questing, staked pooling bonuses, guild wars, buildings, guild raffles and inventory management, and a scholarship program. So I will let you take collaborative questing away first. All right, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we when we kind of started to create this our ADFK guild, we're like, what are our driving tenets here? We want to have fun is number one, and also, we want to be, help building this community because it's been great to us. And so, collaborative questing, in my opinion, is it basically checks both of those boxes. So I think the cool part is, some of the ideas that even, I remember you having originally, speaking of land, right? Say as soon as land opens up, that land's got to be cleared. Let's all our guild members, let's pool our heroes, and maybe you got to get 2,000 hero hours worth of manual labor to get all those stones and trees cut down and actually pave way to build your first building on this land. Just things like that where you're actually involving members of your guild, and maybe you as the single landowner can't do it alone. You don't have enough resources. I can foresee guild management and land management being very resource intensive. just in order so that you can't kind of race to a finish, right? It's got to kind of be measured. So I think collaborative questing is going to be necessary, A, to get the resources you need, and then B, also just to keep it fun and to keep everybody talking and chatting and kind of moving along forward together as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I go first. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just messaging also at the same time here. The Wanderer, who I think is Corey, another champ out there,
Yeah.
um, asking about so backing up a little bit, going to the question prior or conversation prior with when it comes to the setting of dungeon crawling, like do guilds benefit from this, or is this solely the guilds coming in to fight? It's both.
Right.
And the guild defending the keep, like they will benefit from it if they can defend the keep. So, yeah, I think I'm and going back to collaborative questing, I'm really excited about how this can both relate to guilds and to lands at the same time. I feel like this is going to be really thematic, and I hope that there's a way to incorporate the collaboration, and I think that's really going to bring people together. I feel like the idea of PVE is that there is a big quest out there that you can't accomplish on your own, no matter how many heroes you have. It requires the skill of having multiple people doing something at the same time. I really hope that that is a concept that is incorporated. That way it's not just a whales game. It's not just a I can go buy a 5 level 20 heroes. It's how do we go do this at the same time? How do we be collaborative? How do we be strategic? That's what I'm really hoping for.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm sure there's a bunch of clever ways that you can accomplish that, and it's kind of like the simple one is like any wallet can only bring your 3 heroes on this quest, but the quest takes 15 heroes. So
Right.
tell you what, boys, you gotta go find 4 buddies and you
Yeah.
gotta
There you
put
go.
together the best team you can do. And I think that actually kind of leads into another one of our topics very nicely, and it's talking about hero rentals or borrowing.
Yeah.
And I
Go
think
there.
more officially referred to as the scholarship program was talked about way back when I was out at East Denver before Crystal Vale launched, if you guys all remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the scholarship program was envisioned to be anywhere from like guild centric to the Uber of DeFi kingdoms, and I feel like there's so many options here when it comes to where this could go. And I think personally, Neindorf, I know you feel very fortunate that you have a strong hero in your wallet right now, that you're kind of like as more of a developer of the game, you're wanting a way to effectively use this hero in the game. I'll let you more divulge on who
Sure.
this hero is and how strong they are. But you're looking for a way to help someone out, and at the same time, it's like this is also on the fruits of your labors of trying to build within the game, but you don't have the time, since you're spending all your time developing, you don't have the time to actually go out and quest this hero. So I feel like there's a win-win-win when it comes to the scholarship program, where it can benefit guilds, it can benefit the person wanting to rent a hero, and they can benefit the benefactor, the owner of the hero itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if anybody had watched, I don't know, I think we had that streamed. It was the first Dread Knight attempt I ever went for. I kind of hit 2 out of 3 home runs in one swing. I ended up getting the Dread, of course, and then he was lucky enough that the 2 advanced abilities came together and mutated into an elite ability. He was uncommon, so the mythic rarity would have been, like I said, 2 out of 3 is amazing. And that's kind
Right.
of kind of been a side topic that you and I have been talking about, and I've kind of been asking. I even asked Crypto Gray this too. I was like, this hero is worth a fair amount, but it just sits in my wallet doing training quests, earning 150, 300, maybe 400 gold a day is it. And it's like, how do I justify hanging on to that hero when it doesn't really pay for itself? And so I think you're right in the sense that the scholarship program or a hero rental program or a trustless lending, I would say,
Right.
is huge in my opinion. Because right now, there are some guilds that have a small uh, membership that is very close and very trusting, and they will actually just lend heroes by transferring them. But long term, this is crypto. You
It's
can't really
crypto.
rely
It's
on that
crypto.
system.
Yeah.
You need to have like a wrapped hero token where you can wrap it and hand it to somebody. And if they don't really own your hero, they're using a wrapped hero, I'll call it.
Right.
And then when the timer expires, it flies back to your wallet, and there it is. That could allow you to pull some passive income out of these more monster heroes if, as you said, you don't have time to use them. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Between my primary job and the site and the development for all this, which don't get me wrong, I love it. But even at Fight Club, I haven't really had a chance to play. It's just like you said, there's
I
only
mean,
so many
we're
hours in the
all
day.
pulled in a lot of different directions, so
Yes,
it makes sense that it opens up the ability for people to play the game in a lot of different ways, which I think is very healthy for this community.
yes.
Okay, so let's transition to, we talked about kind of like a scholarship program, but what about like, support in another way and like actually staking C Jewel to a guild? Like, what about that as a concept where, instead of like benefacting a guild or a guild member or anyone in the community for that matter, but what about like being able to take your seed jewel and like pool those resources and put it into a guild? How could that work? And I feel like there's an opportunity there that, you know, everyone benefits when Jewel is staked into seed jewel because that's holding a token that eventually will appreciate in value while the token, it is being used and it is getting burned. So talk through some of this idea.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. It is deflationary, right? I mean, there's a maximum amount of Joule and it does get burned. So I think that's important to remember um, as a premise to this. But then I think you're absolutely right. When you're talking about C Joule, right now the sky's the limit. I think we've scratched the surface on what the possibilities are. And when you hear Frisky talking about how excited he is about this vast improvement from X Joule, I kind of starting to see what he's talking about. And in this, I'll give you credit. This was kind of an idea you originally had, but it was like, if guild and land management sorts of things are very expensive and it's very difficult in order to acquire enough locked, C-Jewel and or resources, why couldn't I, as a guild member, allocate, say, 100 or 200 or whatever I'm able to of my C-Jewel? I'm going to allocate that to the guild so that it can be used and however they see fit. And that could almost be your membership fee, to be honest with you. You could use it as that because at that point they're able to use it to provide group power-ups possibly to certain buildings. They're able to maybe reduce summoning costs or gain XP if you're doing, say your land has a fishing pond, right? And you get, yeah, I don't know, 15% more fish from this pond than you would normal fishing quests. Well, if you stake some sea jewel there, maybe that boost even gets higher. And so, by me allocating my sea jewel to the guild to then reinvest into that land, I actually also get a value out of it. Plus, so does the rest of my guild mates. So I think that's the first thing I think of. What do you have? Any
Yeah,
other ideas to add to that?
and I posted my guild manifesto in chat here, and I'll put it in the YouTube description as well. I absolutely love the idea of an environment that creates these win-win situations where there's a guild that you can go do these like group quests. You can gain by going to a solve the quest, and the users gain individually by staking their heroes, and the landowners gain by having team members come in and be a part of this. And I feel like this is just another opportunity to build collaboration, and you could even have like quests on a land or in a guild, like, like to build this building, it requires intelligence because we're building a scholar, we're building a college or a university for scholars,
Oh
for
yeah.
wizards, or this building is an armory, so we require strength and dexterity, and this building over here is we're building for cavalry, and so we need the speed and the agility statistics
Sure.
for our heroes to be successful. I feel like there's such an opportunity that we can continue to make these hero cards, these NFTs that are already in the game, quite powerful.
I love it. I think that's a great idea.
All right, so we've kind of gone through the idea of scholarship program, buildings, staking pooled bonuses, and let's talk a little bit about guild raffles and like inventory management. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that what you'll see a lot of guilds, and they're all pretty much run through Discord at the moment, but you see a lot of people doing giveaways. People love giveaways, first of all, and they're a way that, people who have been fortunate can kind of give back to those, in their guild. And I think I had this kind of concept where I like the way that they do the raffle master where you're giving away items in game, and I got me thinking, well, what if it was a guild was able to establish some rules for how their members got, say, entries into a guild giveaway, whatever mechanism that is. Maybe it's based on how many heroes you stake, or how much sigil you stake, or maybe it's, I think I heard Frisky had an idea possibly about having like daily logins. Maybe for these active users who are logging in every day and playing, they get more entries. And then you could do in your
Yeah,
guild hall, say,
I like that. Yeah,
host these giveaways, and I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I, as a fortunate person, have some Gen Zeros. I'm going to give away this 10 out of 10 Gen 1. And so you could post that in your guild hall, say, for giveaway to your guild. And it just kind of is all smart contract based. This game already has some of that code in the sense of airdropping rewards to winners. It's just, it would be a little different, not maybe raffle ticket based, but maybe some sort of metric based that your guild could help define. Maybe that's complicated, but I think it would be really cool to see that make its way out of, say, Discord and into the game. Or even bigger yet, like the Tilt Proof Tuesday thing, right?
yeah,
That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. If that could get
I love
integrated
that.
into your guild, like that's what we're talking about. That would be so cool.
I absolutely love that. I feel like that, helps create sub communities inside the overall amazing community that we have here. Right now, I'll be honest, the chat is popping off harder than I've ever seen on one of our YouTube videos. It's fantastic, and we have someone out there that I just want to call out by name, Crypto Grady. A huge believer in the community element in itself, and someone who keeps saying and preaching that this community is what brings him into the game, and I couldn't agree more. And I feel like then amplifying that, developing sub communities inside the overall community, and then having these giveaway programs is fantastic. So I'll take a moment here to pitch before guilds come up with some ability to do a giveaway in game where incentives are generated, more naturally. We are going to be starting Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we're going to be doing Summons Night. I'll be hosting the first few, and we're going to be giving away. Right now, I'm promising 4 stones to participants in the Summons Night. Got to be a member of our social guild. And right now we have G Rhythm is asking, what are the requirements of the guild for ADFK right now? no requirements on the social guild. So it's beyond a commitment to like this is the guild you want to be a part of once guilds become a more in-game thing. And this is one of our benefits that we're wanting to provide back to our members right now. And hopefully the game itself, like Neindorf is talking about, starts generating other in-game items that become a part of this. But we're not going to wait for that. We're going to start doing it immediately. And so every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be doing Summons Night. We're going to give away at least 4 stones every night to guild members. And, we want to have fun. We want to talk with you. We want to figure out what people are doing. Like, that's where things get really exciting is like, oh, are you going for like this strategy or that strategy? Are you dark summoning? Are you regular summoning? What are you doing? I think there's so many opportunities, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe you're like, hey, you and I have a specific strength around duels. Like we've got a lot of strategy, a lot of duels played, a lot of knowledge to share, and then like let's go form our own little. Yeah, I feel like almost like a subcommittee, right, in the guild of kind of you never really know where it's going to go. If it's maybe someone's got a ton of experience summoning and has some great insights into things that, ooh, maybe this is the hot alpha. And those are the sorts of things that come up when you get your community together, just kind of shooting the breeze, if you will. Kind of,
Right.
I mean, that's what honestly caused us to create this podcast. I don't know what, over a year ago.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, last item that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I'm trying to open up some windows here, and we have shirts that we are going to be popping off here. And so if you join the ADFK group, we are ordering some shirts right now, and I know we are planning on doing this for the group that's going to DC Miami here in a little bit. All right, so here we go. I got the shirt
There
up
you
on
go.
screen now. So this is the ADFK shirt, and we are buying. I can't remember. Like I think it's like 20 of these, and I'm promising that it won't be right away. But the way that we're gonna do this, because we don't want people to dox themselves, you can go ahead and we're going to provide a website inside our guild chat. So this is for ADFK guild members only. And for those of you going to DC Miami, Kells, one of our High Council members, he's going to be bringing extra shirts with him. So Grady, he's already got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 planned for you, for some of the Mythic Squad guys out there, and for the DeFi Kingdoms team. I know he's planning on bringing a few out there. And so what we're going to do is we're ordering a bunch of these, and I'm going to commit to once we start opening up the order form, you can log into a website and you can order these shirts. You can select your size, you can select your shipping address, and then you will buy these shirts, pay for them, and they will ship to your address. So the first 15 guild members that post onto Twitter their shirts, we will reimburse you with Crystal. And so you don't have to dox yourself. So we want to have fun with this, whether you put your shirt on your dog, or you put it in your living room, or you put it on a tree, or put it on a pumpkin. I don't know. Halloween's passed already, so maybe not pumpkin. Christmas tree, whatever it is, whatever holiday you're celebrating this time of year. The first 15 people that order shirts, get them in, and then post it on a Twitter, we will reimburse you with Crystal or with Jewel, whatever your token of choice is. So really excited about this, and trying to have fun with the community and to promote some cool swag here.
Yeah, I think that's cool. It's one of those things where it's great that some of our members, our team members, are going to be able to go down and actually, rub shoulders with the DFK team and participate in some of these larger crypto events. And I kind of feel like, these are things that are really important, even especially when the market is, somewhat tumultuous still. It's not, we haven't really transitioned to a full rising tide yet here. So it's really cool to be able to do these things and to have some representation for our members. So I think it's amazing.
Speaking of amazing members, so while we're talking about this, Sir Worm just pops off and goes crazy here. He goes, "I will give away a Gen Zero summon on the next summon this night." So
All
I
right.
mean, this is an amazing group. G Rhythms asking, "How do I join?" I'll put a link here in chat to our forum. So you jump into the ADFK Discord. On there, we have a form to enter. Right now, we're trying to gather information from our users, like what do you want to see out of a guild. So you enter your information there, put it into that Google form, and we're letting everyone in. As Guy Kid was joking about on the last podcast, very selective right now. We've let in 100% of the people who have applied, and we're trying to build a great guild with great people, and right now we're pulling people in. So expect that G Rhythm in the chat here momentarily.
Yeah, and I think some of the other questions are just, hey, are you open to? I know you've had this concept in your opinion or in the past about, hey, you said you're making a lot of paladins with your Gen Zeros, and maybe someone else was making a lot of Dark Knights, and some of the questions on there are like, yeah, could we swap? They're almost sort of like, how can we help each other, and how can we grow and make this guild better? So, it's not like a grilling questionnaire by any stretch of the imagination. It's more just to see how we can all, you know, have fun together.
I couldn't agree more. All right, well as I'm posting this into the chat. So that's how the blog side chat guys got in, says Aaron Price.
Uh,
Bringing in the comedy.
that's
All
pretty
right.
funny.
So I think that's it for us tonight. So Neindorf, any closing comments?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's basically just, these are the sorts of things that I think make this game special that we don't even have guilds yet officially, and we're still super stoked about them. It's, I don't know, we're always so forward leaning in this game, trying to like look around the corner and like anticipate, and we're just always excited. So, everybody go out to the talk, the Rapid Art site, post your other guild ideas. We would love to hear what you guys are thinking too, and continue to talk, and we can all add on each other's ideas and see what we can help get this team to build for us. Because it sounds like from what you said with Frisky, they want to pull in all the ideas they can get. So I think we take that as a challenge and get them as many ideas as we can come up with.
Yeah, they're listening for sure. All right, so my closing chats are: there's a huge community going out there for DC Miami. Make sure you hit people up. I know Crypto Grady's going to be there. Kells from our chat's going to be there. The DeFi Kingdom Studios team's going to be out there. So hit those folks up, and then we are. I know Crypto Grady dropped this again on his podcast the other night. We dropped this, like a month ago now. Like, eventually, we are going to have a Midwest meetup, and I know on the last AMA, they're doing a SoCal meetup, and so we got to do them one better. So if you're in the Midwest, hit up Crypto Grady, hit up me, hit up Neindorf. Eventually, we're gonna do it. I don't know how many months out it's gonna be. We'll probably do it in the heart of winter because that's what we do in the Midwest. But at some point, we gotta get together. We gotta get this great group of people together, and we'll do a Midwest meetup, and we will make sure it's the best meetup out there. All right,
Love it.
so
Absolutely.
for Neindorf, this is Raph. Thank you very much, and have a good night.